Andrei, welcome to the show. It's good to see you, brother.
Hi, nice to meet you. Hi, good to see you.
Yeah, same. You are someone I wanted to spend time with. You are someone who's done a lot of great work, and you are someone that's at a brand that I adore. So, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's awesome to be here. Thanks.
So, one of the things I want to do an audible here. One of the things that we're going to be doing is called ML Day, Machine Learning Day. I think we deserve a day. I think we deserve a national day. It's a 5-year plan. The big goal is day to day. I mean, think about Mother's Day, Amazon Prime Day. I want day to day. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think machine learning is bringing very big impact everywhere, right? Like by different dimensions, like how many people are impacted by it,
Yes.
right? In their daily life, like how many people who use either like Google, Zillow, Amazon, something else, and it's each of these services is very much driven by machine learning applications. But also, if you consider how many people they're involved in the development of machine learning, it's like a different stage. Like perhaps millions of people in the United States only, right? I think it's deserved to have a special machine learning day by now. Yes.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that you and I wanted to talk about was engineering culture and leadership. And I don't think you could build culture in a day, but I think the exhaust of the day, I think, we can talk about culture because so many times when we get together about data, we talk about pipelines, we talk about cleaning, but I love your thoughts on just engineering culture. Is there anything you want to kind of pick up on that thought?
Yes, it's really important topic, and all my life I'm working on improving culture in all my industrial life. And when you say culture, right? And one thing is culture, other thing is good practices, right?
Mm-hmm.
What makes difference? When people ask, we don't have engineering culture, what do we have to do, right? And
right.
Different things how to improve quality of code, how to improve quality of deployment to production, how to improve quality of running in production. It does not really make culture. It's good practices. I think what makes culture versus good practices is what people enjoy and love to do it, right? You can ask people, okay, we want you to be sure that our code is good, that our services is good, that customers don't have problems because of services have outage. We have to do this one, this is the way we write code, this is our style, this way to test code, this is the way we build our solutions. It will be just a set of practices, right? To make it culture, I think people must, and what I saw makes really good culture versus not good culture. People must really enjoy it. People must do it not just because they're forced to do it, to make them to do it because there are some kind of pipelines which check quality of your code is very important. But to transform this into culture, people must love doing this. People must enjoy doing this. People must be, using other tools and verification tools, not because they're forced, but because they love doing this. And I think this is what really makes culture, such that it's not just set of practices to improve engineering quality, operational excellence, and so on, but this is something what nature of every person in the organization, that they love doing this and they enjoy doing this. I think this is what makes really culture.
Well, I think not only, I agree. I think there's another word we put in front of that engineering culture, which I've seen also, is strengths. It's a strengths-based culture. So it's like an engineering strengths culture, right? Play to also the strengths in there, because if you're doing what you love and you're good at it, you're doing better than most. So I just wonder where you could put strengths in that culture, or what are your thoughts on adding that philosophy? Yeah. Oh, strengths. You're adding strengths to the culture. So it's an engineering strengths-based culture, right? It's let's put you in what you are really good at and you enjoy doing, the strengths of that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a valid point. and there are, like about strengths, there are different things, right? Like typically, like everyone has certain strong points, some weak points, right? And you win by elevating your strengths points, right? Like winning on them, and it's very important. But it does not mean that you have to disregard weak points, because many of them are like, like where you're weak, it can be really mandatory, like to be good at that, right? And you cannot say, oh, I'm weak at that, but actually I'm good at something else. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's not, right? And I think part of culture is like kind of, like shifting everybody to certain, at least minimum level, such that even if you're weak in something, at least you will be at a certain level which will be good enough.
I agree.
Be successful. It's part of it. And then, of course, part of the culture is to make sure your strengths points shine even more. But still, like, it does not allow weak points to, oh, it's weak, we don't care, right? No, they must follow at least certain threshold level.
Now, when you look at this past year and you look at how work has changed, walk us through how that's impacted you as a human. You've had probably different time to reflect, or different ways to work with teams. Most engineers I know enjoyed the time, and they said nothing has really changed. They've always worked from home. So tell us about you and maybe what you learned about yourself in this interesting time.
For me, it's the opposite. I always worked from office 5 days per week, sometimes even more. I always work in culture which was encouraging working from office, which had like kind of would not like if you say no tolerance, and sounds like negative, which did not kind of allow people to work from home. It was like in some companies to have one day working from home, but actually it did not work that well from my experience, right? But so if you ask me like last March, 1 year ago, like 1 year and 2 months, would you work successfully from home? I would say no, and I would be very confident. And I was very surprised that after we had to move everybody working from home, that it was very enjoyable experience to work from home. And second, it was very successful, very productive experience working from home. So not just me, like not suffering, but also business not suffering. It was actually good for both for business and for teams and for people, right? I was very surprised. It was like, I would say, a revelation for me. I know some companies work remotely, like GitLab. I never work in that environment. I work always in office, and believe it's very important. Very important to be in office, meet people face to face. But for me, it was very big discovery that actually working from home can be so successful, both for like work productivity, but also for personal happiness. It was very, very revealing for me.
I can't go back.
Yeah, in my company, we have now, we publicly announced, we have now this work from home as permanent policy, right? People, if they can ask office, they can come to do something, but we have this permission, right?
Yeah, I can't go back. I can't go back.
It's very big benefit. You start, it's more comfortable to you to work, you can focus better. Now, 10 years ago, many companies had small offices, each person, right? Now, almost everybody in open space. Hard to focus, right? Working from home, you have your office, you have your comfortable environment. I have my espresso machine, everything much easier to focus, much easier to work. If you want to meet different people, it's easier to meet. If you want to make 1 hour break for fitness, and fitness very important for your work productivity, you can do it more easily. It's much better. You don't lose like 2 hours on commute or 3 hours on commute. So it's like very big benefit now.
Everything you're saying, everything. I say, everyone thinks about PTO, paid time off, or vacation days. It's nice to run errands. It's just nice to just, in the middle of the day, go pick up medicine, or in the middle of the day, do a quick shop, because we're so used to, I have to do it at 5 o'clock when everyone's there, everyone's checking out. And for me, that is just, I say HR human resources should have errands, just do what you have to do. It takes a lot of stress out. I do agree. There are so many people I've spoken to who are senior leaders that they enjoy spending time with their family. That's very meaningful to them. and the work is getting done. And I think that's delightful. And I think when I think of machine learning day or a data day, I think there's a lot that we can give to the community of people coming into the field who are learning, people that are in the field that want to network, that want to meet, that want to talk about culture, that want to talk about leadership. The day of connections. And maybe it's a day because of the loneliness that we've all now kind of had. We're not in a restaurant overhearing a conversation and just joining in a conversation impromptu. So there's a lot here, but to me, these are great calls because I get to meet you and break up the loneliness. I don't know if you feel the same as your meeting, but it's been a lonely year.
Not for me, frankly speaking, like more time with family, more time even with colleagues, right? Because you can more easily switch from one to another. No, I would not like for me. I understand the logic and why it affects many people, but not for me. Like, I would not say
this guy's a rock star. He's like, no, I love that. I love that. Well, any advice you can give our audience? We're going to be, again, publishing this on the Machine Learning Day. Any advice you can give, maybe that things that you've learned, or maybe something that a mentor has told you, or something as you as a mentor tell a mentee, what advice can you give people? And you can pick it, whether it be an executive, you tell the advice. What kind of advice would you give someone listening?
Yeah, it's a very open, right, question. I think I can give there are several topics to discuss as advice, right? One, which kind of, I think like in life, whatever level of your career, right? You can be starting immediately after college, or maybe even still in college, or maybe you can be senior executive. Like education is one of the best investments you always do in your life, which always pay many times. And unfortunately, I notice many people once they achieve certain threshold, like their lives, they believe they don't need it, right? And different, right? Would it be like individual contributor, as machine learning engineer? You believe, okay, I know NLP, deep learning, everything. I don't need to follow what they published recently. I know everything, right? Or you can be a leader, like executive, and you decide, oh, I know how to manage 500 people. I don't want to learn what leadership advices.
Right.
What I've noticed, a part of being good professional, successful professional is continuing education. Every step is super important in every line. Would you be specializing in technical solutions at a certain level? You would to be best in there, to be abreast what's going on in your industry, but also as you grow up, your cover, you assume you're deep learning engineer, right? And you build best models. But as you increase, as your role increase, then it's very important how to run these models in production, how to build deployment production pipelines. Maybe then next, you want to run them in particular, edge small devices, how to run on them. So you always increase into very different areas your set of professional responsibilities. The same as you go to leadership, you're executive, right? You manage, let's say, a big set of data scientists. But then you have to manage also product people, but then you have to manage analytics people, but then you have to manage ops people, right? And they're very different professions, and to manage them successfully, you first have to learn how to manage multifunctional teams. And then you have to understand also that area, but just illustration. The main topic that education, continuous education, is very important to continue all your life, or your professional life. Also, it gives great satisfaction, but also especially now as we are more at home, right? We have more opportunities now to spend more time on education, either reading books or attending online classes. As you notice, now, there are a lot of classes, let's say leadership at Stanford, leadership at MIT, right? Wharton, MBA programs. Now, because of this, the shifts, almost all of them have really good online programs, and they're really professional, good online programs. It's just about leadership, but the same about deep learning, about NLP. And what I would give my advice from my heart, investment in education to grow up, whatever level you are now. It can be like, you can lead very big team, but still have a lot to learn in leadership. There are a lot of big, like how to move to the next step. It's like, it's not just like, to learn even in your practice, you have to also know how to learn it, get proper mentorship, get proper classes. Mentorship is also very important. So my advice would be always invest into professional development, like to get wider, to get deeper. It's super important in every step of professional career.
Gold. And let me tell you why I say gold. Education, big word. The last 18 months, everyone's home. There's Coursera, there's online courses, there's EDX. When we're saying education, it's not about, well, I don't have the money, I need to get a PhD, an MBA. No, you don't. I mean, those are great paths, but there right now are plenty of ways to upskill, to learn, to be curious, and always learn.
Exactly.
I absolutely agree. And it's very easy to consume. It's a podcast, it's a webinar, it's YouTube, it's a class. I think now that you talked about the education, I think that is that also a little bit of the connection of you now. And I was looking at your profile of being on the Harvard Business Review. Was that part of this thinking of education and schooling, and then tying into a university and looking at public, being on a committee? Like, walk us through how that came about. I wanted to tie this into your kind of a recent role with the Harvard Business Review.
Right.
Was that also because your passion for education and teaching and writing? How did that connect?
Yeah, I'm in the advisory council. So currently it's more like, sometimes when they want to move next step, what to publish, right? What to publish about what they ask the advisory council to give them direction. And for me, it's an important step. I was very glad that they invited me to Harvard Business Review Advisory Council because it's one of my favorite publishing houses. Mm-hmm. They have really great selection of leadership books, which I believe they have really good authors. They have really good, very different leadership, like how to make good culture in the organization, how to do proper, multi-company project management, how to create, non-fear culture, how to grow up leaders in the organization. They have Harvard Business Review cover everything. And I really like this organization and believe in their value. And for me, it was really good opportunity for me to bring, I learned a lot from them. And for me, it's good opportunity to help them to decide their next agenda, what to bring to other leaders. That's why I feel pretty happy about this membership.
It's easy to see why they reached out to you, easy to see why you said yes. So we are a community. We're going to be airing this on the 26th of May, which is our machine learning day. So that's just pretty exciting. Now, it's also about connecting, right? So one of the things we want to do is connect on culture, connect with people maybe on leadership. Are there an industry? There are so many great members of our community. Who can I kind of connect you? Who are you looking to meet? And I know you always say, I'm good. Every time I ask a question, you say something, but I'm going to still ask, who do you want to meet?
Different, right? Maybe some people who wants to get mentorship, some people who are ready to give mentorship, right? Some people who are looking for peers, right? For people who wants to get some advice, to people who wants to give some advice.
Right.
So I don't feel any restriction, right? I feel like different people who wants to get membership, who wants to build career in leadership and understand how to grow up as leaders. Or people who are very successful and they're ready to share their success stories and tell what helps them to grow up would be also interesting. And some people maybe they're leading some NLP big organizations and they want to understand how engineering culture can help into this set of solutions. Just example, right? In general, kind of technical peer communities when people can share common advice, common practices, and help each other to grow and their organizations and businesses to grow.
Yeah, they are well said. And there's a few I have in mind for you. So you are an adult and this is a treat. Now, I'm sitting in Miami. I lived in San Francisco. I'm part of the San Francisco to Florida, Miami exodus. Where are you sitting and did you stay?
So once I moved to United States, I lived in like many countries. So I am from Ukraine, then I lived in Russia, then I was in Austria, in United Kingdom, in Italy, in Switzerland, moved to United States, California. Like 1 year ago with my wife to Seattle, so we live in Seattle now. I'm pretty happy, like it's a nice place. And actually we've been recently with my wife, we went for vacation to Florida. We were in Marco Island, very beautiful area. We love it, beautiful beaches.
But beautiful area. Yes. Oh my God, Marco Island. Yes.
Nice area, yeah.
Oh my God.
We live in Seattle.
Yeah, that's fine. I was in San Francisco, and then when we could work anywhere, I have family here, and my anywhere has a palm tree. So when someone says, "Where's your anywhere?" There's a palm tree next to it. So there are a few people I want to connect you with. Andrei, thank you for being flexible. This is something we wanted to do. So loved having you on the show, and we are going to be friends for a long time. I have a great feeling about this.
Yeah, it was really great, pleasure talking to you, Darren. Thank you. Yeah, I would be glad to talk more. Thank you very much.